Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Test.
A woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 934th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of toxic masculinity, misogyny, and small bleep energy. It is Monday, February 13th of 2023. It is good to have you in today. We are streaming live simultaneously to YouTube, Rumble, and SharpeStream. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. Guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Donovan's Den, as well as Instagram at Donovan Sharpe TSR. Guys, be sure to get your hands on my newest free ebook, Dead Bedroom, The Cure for a Sexless Relationship. If you are stricken by the affliction, also known as, or affectionately referred to as desert dick, go to tsracademy.com/free/ plug in your very best email, and you will watch your relationship go from the Mojave to the Amazon. You guys see what I did there? Mojave to the Amazon. You guys see what I did there? Absolutely. If you'd like access to over 35,000 hours of exclusive content, which includes more than 20 seasons of dating show breakdowns, head on over to sharpestream.com to sign up to be a member. In addition to all the great content, you get chat privileges, as well as ad-free on-demand video. Also, make sure you download the SharpeStream app on the App Store for iOS and the Google Play Store for Android absolutely free, and enable push notifications so you'll be notified when I go live on any platform like Fresh and Fit, Saucecast, Just Pearly Things, and so forth. I'm going to be adding an additional benefit to my SharpeStream and Patreon memberships. Starting tomorrow, I was going to start this today, but I have a pretty serious family emergency, extended family emergency that I need to deal with tonight. I'm actually going to be driving into the city tonight. I've got some serious family, got a serious family issue that your boy needs to be present for. However, starting tomorrow, I will be doing my dating show breakdowns as usual. I will then come on and do TSR Live with you guys for about an hour, maybe hour and a half. Then I will be doing another saucier topic, hardcore red pill stuff, on SharpeStream. That will be for SharpeStream. Members only. I know a lot of people don't really have time to watch a lot of the long-form content, but of course I like to talk, and I wanted to give my guys a little bit more benefit. You guys have been my supporters for years now. You guys have absolutely changed my life, and I'm always looking for a way to pay it forward and to give you guys added value for spending your hard-earned money to let me run off at the mouth for a living. And so the least I can do is to offer more value in the way of volume of content. So starting tomorrow, that's what I will be doing. Dio in the chat says, "Let's go Chiefs." Yes. Yes. Yeah, so last night was a bit of a bummer. The Kansas City Chiefs defeated my Philadelphia Eagles 38-35 in a really, really great, hotly contested Super Bowl 57. Disappointing into the season. I thoroughly expected the Eagles to absolutely dog walk the Chiefs, and it looked as though that was going to be the case. After the first half. Jalen Hurts had the turnover, but we clearly overcame that. But then, hey, man, the Kansas City Chiefs became the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they made the proper adjustments. They ended up coming back and winning that football game. A lot of people say that the Eagles got robbed because of the James Bradbury holding penalty. Listen, some people will point to the fact that there were 60 some odd passes and there were no holding penalties called, even though guys were grabbing jerseys and whatnot. I suppose a case could be made for that, but I don't know. If that had been the Eagles in that situation, I would not be feeling sorry for Kansas City. If the game had gone just like that, let's just say that, one of the rookie corners for Kansas City tugs A.J. Brown's jersey. He can't get open. We get that holding call. First down, we drain the clock, kick the game-winning field goal. I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But great game. Even though I was disappointed, I think I speak for everybody here in Philly when I say clearly a successful season. Nobody expected the Eagles to make the Super Bowl. Nobody expected the Eagles to dominate the way they did. We were 30 minutes away from winning our second Super Bowl title in 6 seasons. We were just beaten by a better team, a better quarterback, and a better coach. All of that said, very good season. Howie Roseman, executive of the year, clearly executive of the year. We've got 2 first-round draft picks. We have found our franchise quarterback, and I have reason to believe that Jalen Hurts is going to go the Patrick Mahomes route. I think he's going to give the Eagles a hometown discount, so that the Eagles can continue to be competitive, right? Aaron Rodgers didn't give him the hometown discount. They had to get rid of Devontae Adams and a couple other pieces, and now Green Bay's a dumpster fire. Aaron Rodgers is locked in some cabin somewhere dark. Clearly he just doesn't. He's a different dude. Doesn't really care about football as much as some other guys. Doesn't make him a bad person. Just a different dude. This is why he only has 1 Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes now has 2. But Patrick Mahomes gave the Kansas City Chiefs a discount. Well, Donovan, what are you talking about? He got 10 years, $450 million. Guys, he could have gotten a lot more. He could have gotten a lot more out of Kansas. Dude, Patrick Mahomes could have gotten $65 million. He could have gotten $70 million a year out of Kansas City. He could have. He chose, okay, I'm going to sign this 10-year deal. I'm going to be with Kansas City for life. It's going to average $45 million a year. It's going to be front-loaded. Okay, so they had to make some initial sacrifices. Charvarius Ward ended up in San Francisco. Tyreek Hill obviously ended up in Miami, and so on and so forth. But the Chiefs are set up to be successful because Mahomes' contract is only 17% of the team's salary, right? Lamar Jackson wants $250 million guaranteed. Well, if they give Lamar $250 million guaranteed, they're probably not going to be able to keep Mark Andrews. They're not going to be able to keep Marcus Peters. I mean, these things trickle downhill. So really, you have to think about the quarterback. You have to think about the kind of person they are. Do they care about? And again, listen, if you're in it for the money, I'm not mad at that. But there are costs to everything. Tom Brady gave the Patriots discounts at every turn. He's got 7 Super Bowl rings. That's why, in part, he's got 7 rings. Patrick Mahomes gave the Chiefs a hometown discount. It was front loaded. The contract was front loaded, so they had to make a few initial sacrifices. But now that they've got a bunch of young players, they can keep Travis Kelce, they can keep Creed Humphrey, they can keep the young guys on defense, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, and they just won the Super Bowl. Well, Jalen Hurts, and so you think about a guy like Jalen Hurts. Does Jalen Hurts strike you as the type of dude who cares more about money or winning? I think he cares more about winning. He came from a great family, strong father, supportive mother, right? And Jalen knows he's going to make his money. But I think Jalen is the type of dude, he's going to say, you know what? What's the difference between a $125 million net worth and a $200 million net worth? I think Jalen is, and listen, if he chooses to go the Lamar Jackson route, I can't be mad at that. He's a second round pick who just took his team to the Super Bowl in his second year starting. He has every right to demand as much as he wants, but I don't think he's going to do that. This could be wishful thinking, but Jalen strikes me as the type of dude who cares more about winning than he does about money. This does not mean money is not important to him, and it should be. He should absolutely be compensated because the jump that he made from year 2 to year 3 was unlike anything we have ever seen. The jump from year 2 to year 3 for Jalen Hurts, it's even bigger than the jump from year 1 to year 2 with Carson Wentz. We know Carson Wentz is a rookie. He was okay. Second year, he popped. He exploded. Still holds the Eagles' single-season record for touchdown passes in a season with 33. Jalen's got a chance. I think Jalen's got a chance to do that. But I think that Jalen Hurts is going to be the type of dude, I think he'll say, okay, you know what? I think they'll do some creative structuring with his contract to make sure that he is secure financially, but also to make sure that he keeps the weapons around him. Because I'll tell you what, hopefully we can talk Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson, who, by the way, is contemplating retirement. Hopefully we can get those guys back. Jordan Mailata's still young. He's going to be in year 3 of a 4-year deal. Isaac Seumalo's coming back. Everybody's coming back. A.J. Brown's under contract for the next 2 years. Devontae Smith is still under a rookie contract. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's in his second of a 4-year deal. Darius Slay. Brandon Graham's going to be in his 14th year. He's getting a little long in the tooth. So is Fletcher Cox. I imagine those guys will probably be back. But, dude, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, those guys are all young. Those guys are all on rookie deals, man. And so I think the Eagles, if we play our cards right, and Howie Roseman, gives me reason to believe that we probably will. I think we will remain competitive. Next year is not going to be, listen, there are a couple of things that could give us hope, right? We all know that the Super Bowl loser almost always comes out on fire. They come out 10-0, 11-1, right? Because they're hungry. Or they could have a Super Bowl hangover. Jalen does not strike me as that type of dude. So hopefully we can lick our wounds and come back and have a similar season. Great minds with a $20 super chat. Appreciate that very much. Says, hey, Donovan, I would like to say that I'm a member of yours and my life has changed for the better. Thank you for your guidance and wisdom. And with that, we are now going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Savo, who I believe is I've called you the Mark Wahlberg of the Manosphere, but it seems as though you want to be known as maybe the Sylvester Stallone of the Manosphere. How's my aim there?
Oh yeah, for sure, if possible. Sly might be a little bit taller than Mark Wahlberg, or they're actually probably both the same size. Hotep Jesus told me that Joe Rogan is my height. I knew there were so many great men that were my height.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Joe Rogan is not as tall as one might think. Now the reason I'm bringing you on here, Kevin, is because I'm going to be reacting to a video that you released on the Red Pill Lions channel. Guys, be sure to go and subscribe to that channel. You guys had a solid, in-depth conversation about Lori Harvey and things of that, just the whole, what's going on with Lori Harvey. Why did you decide to do that particular video? And what you guys seem very knowledgeable for a bunch of kids. What say you about that?
I was putting together this themed thing because there was something about Sylvester Stallone in the news. You were on for that portion. Pamela Anderson said that back in the day, Stallone was building a rotation and offered her the #1 spot, like to be the main. And we talked about how like this comes up in the press now because she's trying to change the narrative after the Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson show that I guess she didn't have any creative control over. So she's going back over like the biggest flexes of her life. And that's one thing that you and Rock pinpointed, that it wasn't so much a like, look at how much of a piece of shit this particular celebrity was. It's more so I was so high value that even Sylvester Stallone offered me a car and a house to be the main in his rotation. And then I thought, I know the Michael B. Jordan and Laura Harvey thing is a little bit outdated. I'm like a month or month and a half behind the ball on that, but let's make it like a Creed themed thing. And what's cool is that when we get rolling, like Rock and I are, I don't know, there's like a genuine side of the conversation that comes out. So instead of it just being like a breakdown of look at what the celebrities did and how can we pull a red pill lesson out of it, we got on this tangent kind of about the value of having to become something as a man versus either being the daughter of a celebrity or a son of a celebrity. Because we're talking about how either way you're in such a, like, Rock made the point about Michael Jordan, not Michael B. Jordan, but Michael Jordan's kids, about how they were actually trying to be basketball players too, and they sucked, and how as a result that never comes up. And then we talked about the masculine complex of being a man who wants to make a name for himself when you're the son of an already great man. Yeah. And the fact that what it basically means is like how Rollo Tomasi says women just are and men have to become. Yeah. Laura Harvey just is. She's a pretty girl, and she is the stepdaughter of a famous man who paved the way for her to do whatever she pleases now. Run around, date a bunch of high status men to add to your value or add to your brand, have a brand yourself, be a brand ambassador of whatever you want to do. Whereas the son of a famous person is in such a tough spot because that man's father had to become something from nothing. But now he'll only ever be looked at as the son of a great man, meaning he never had to become. He just is the son of a famous man. But it's different when you're a guy, because that sense of legacy and that sense of what can I live up to when everybody knows everything was handed to me is kind of part of a masculine complex. That's not something that a woman would have to deal with. Right. Clearly, with Lori Harvey being the example, if she's the daughter of a famous person.
What are your thoughts? My thought in terms of Lori Harvey and her future. I think that Lori Harvey, just like on the in the thumbnail, I think in 10 years Lori Harvey is going to be Brittany Renner. In 20 years, she's going to be Superhead. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, they seem to be following the same pattern, extensive dating history, and when you and I are finished, I'll go over that here with my guys. But what is your prediction for Lori Harvey in the future, just based on what you know about her right now?
My opinion is probably not too different than what any other manosphere cat would say. I even though she's a celebrity, I just personally look at the girl as a fool for giving up a cat like Michael B. Jordan. Right. Because when you think about it, like whether you're a celebrity or not, that's kind of every father's dream, to see their daughter get with a high status man and know that she's taken care of. So like in the real world, not in the celebrity realm, if you were a father and your daughter passed up on a dude who was a high earner, good status, good moral character, you're like, you're an idiot. Like where are you going to go from here? And I just look at it like she has the advantage of being able to treat the celebrity world that she's been introduced to by byproduct of her stepfather as like a playground to just run around and sample a bunch of high status men. And I truly believe for the flex of not only saying I dated high status men, but I left high status men.
Yes.
Because look at me, I really don't have any value of my own, but I'm still too good for Adonis Creed. I'm too good for Future. I'm too good for all these high status men, which from a feminist perspective is looked at as even a bigger flex than having been with the high status men. But at 40, 45, 50, that probably is going to look a lot stupider to her, I would think, than it does right now. Right now, it's the coolest feminist flex in the world. You're literally too good for who is considered to be the handsomest black man in Hollywood. Like, he is considered to be like the ultimate like pretty boy. Yeah. He's the guy right now. Yeah. And of course, being a dude, I didn't even like realize that until recently. I just thought of him as like, oh, he's like another Stallone. He's like another Carl Weathers. He's another action guy. Sure. And then through magazine covers and everything, I realized I'm like, oh, he's considered like the sexiest dude of right now in entertainment. So I think to pass up on that is a flex, which seems great at her age, but I would just think, how do you not look back at that as a regret? Because I think at 50, you may look back and be like, I could have been Michael B. Jordan's wife. But at, being in her late 20s right now, it's the flex of, shit, I didn't even need Michael B. Jordan. It's like, okay.
Do you think, and again, we know that women are anything but, women are only introspective. Women are only reflective when their options begin to dwindle. Is there any hope for Lori Harvey to hit the brakes and say, okay, wait a minute. All right, I'm 28 years old. I'm still beautiful, but, I'm seeing what's going on with Brittany Renner. I see what's going on with, Karen Steffens, a.k.a. Superhead. It looks like it's not going to end well for me. Do you think that she will ever have that come to Jesus moment? Or will she, like most women, celebrities and or otherwise, she won't figure it out until it's too late?
It probably will be the case where she doesn't figure it out where it's too late, but with the state of the culture, there's still kind of like an avenue for that where she could be like I'm just talking about in terms of like career. Like the craziest thing is there's a career option for women like this that comes with 100%. Any level of decision making. So she could end up being like a Basketball Wives-esque television personality. She could be the 45 single and still hot lead of a reality show that's about that very same thing. I will give the girl credit and say that, like, I wouldn't personally completely compare her to a Brittany Renner, because at least at least Lori Harvey isn't like classless like Brittany Renner was. Like, that girl became famous for saying, like, for telling you how to trap a high value man. Sure. So that's been a lot that she's had to dial back. It's kind of funny to see that girl in the media pleading her case when it's like, the whole reason we judge you the way you do is because of what you became known for, literally telling women, get with a basketball player, have his kid, and you're fucking set for life. So any morals that are newly found in the interim of all that 5-10 years on is just kind of like, okay. But yeah, I would imagine that Lori Harvey will always have a career avenue that is somewhat tailored to her relationship status, whether she's single or not. And if you're single, that could become like its own reality show, 50 and single, but still hot. And they could take that wherever they want to take it. But I would just think, I think a girl gets older and realizes, like, dude, you're shot in your late 20s, giving up such high status men because you thought it was cool.
Okay, last question. I'll get you out of here on this. At what age do you think Lori is going to, and again, we know that women would never ever admit, oh shit, I fucked up. They would never admit that to us. Superhead is 44 going on 45 years old. She tells the world that she's still hot and I'm solid and this and that and the third. Brittany Renner at least kept it a little bit more real when she was on with Pearl and Andrew Tate, #FreeTheTates. But in the deepest recesses of their minds, Superhead knows it's over. Brittany Renner knows it's over. At what age do you think Lori Harvey is going to introspectively say to herself, "Oh shit, I fucked up. I should have done things differently"? Is it in her late 20s? Is it in her mid 30s? When do you think it happens for her? Because it is going to happen. It's not a matter of if; it's really a matter of when. What's your opinion on that?
I'd say like early 40s to mid 40s because I think it's harder for celebrity women to understand when the wall truly hits.
Okay.
I think personally, I think for ordinary women, they sense the wall right around 30, like right around like what Rollo's books say. I think is pretty accurately.
Yep.
But celebrity women get so much attention on them, and there's so much of a like de-aging process, whether it's through hormones, plastic
Yep.
surgery, makeup, you name it, and they are still so celebrated so late in their life, once their youth is gone, even when their looks start to fade, and then there's the whole celebration of being single at whatever age. If you notice when you go into the clip, and I think you might have downloaded it yourself, there's this big focus on celebrating being single. So she's hot off of dumps Future, dumps Michael B. Jordan. There's two high value men right there, and the cheetah girl that's interviewing her is like so single. I mean, look at it for a single woman. She was also the first single woman that was featured on this magazine that
Right.
celebrates Black women,
Right.
that only ever previously celebrated Black women that were in, at least as far as the public can see, like somewhat healthy, long lasting relationships.
Right.
So that's kind of an interesting. You're the first single one, which is a win. And there's an attitude right now that's what makes you powerful. And in the celebrity world, being 40 and single, as long as you still look somewhat hot and you still have some brand deals, it looks like it's still equally celebrated in like a very feminist-esque way. So don't get me wrong. I'm not here to completely shit on the girl. She's a beautiful girl. We just used it as an example mainly of how different it is for men in her very same position. Um, and it's a complex that it only relates to men. So any man in her position is what Rocky points out in this clip. Their life is fucked. Like
Yeah.
we were like, look at the Kardashians,
Yeah.
the girls versus the one male Kardashian.
Right.
Nobody cares about him.
Right.
He-
Right.
There's nothing he could do. None of us look up to him. And Rocky cited a lot of different sons of super famous men that we've never heard about, that we didn't know existed. And mainly when they tried to go after the same kind of success that their dad had, and basically failed to do so. Whereas if you're the daughter of a famous man, that kind of just sets up a whole life for you. And we don't bring things up like that because we talk about like suggesting it's something that should change in the culture.
Mhm.
It's just something to understand about the difference between womanhood and manhood.
Last question for real this time.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. A lot of guys in the chat are like, oh my God, she's going to, 31, 28, 29, 32. They're like, dang, that's late. And of course, Dr. B84 says by 45 or 50, it's super game over. And I would agree with you. But you also made the point. That not only do celebrities have access to anti-aging products that the average rank and file woman does not, this kind of thing it's celebrated. I mean, how many times are we going to be subjected to Madonna smolders the internet with a new cheeky bikini pic? Like, dude, the bitch is 97 years old and she's still trying to be sexy. So being a celebrity absolutely makes women even more delusional about the wall. So you really do believe that Lori Harvey is not going to finally admit to herself that she fucked up until she is in her 40s?
Around there, I think, and let's just call it what it is. Madonna's a white woman. Black women tend to age a little bit more gracefully.
Yep.
I mean, Madonna's, I mean, it's not like you haven't seen Black women go OD with surgery and everything, but not every girl does what Lil' Kim did. I don't know why she did that. She
Oh
she
my-
looks insane.
Jesus Christ, looks like a clown.
Yeah, no. So Lori Harvey's a beautiful girl. There's a possibility that she's gonna age like an Angela Bassett or so. But I would just think, just look at her life. Her whole life revolves around the status of the men around her, whether it be the men she dates or it's just the status that she's riding off of her stepfather. So I just think I think in the celebrity world, it takes celebrity women a lot longer to realize like the impact of the wall, and that whole celebrity liberal culture
Yep.
seriously values being single, being childless. It seriously undervalues relationship.
Yes.
It's like the longer you've been a single woman, somehow the more powerful you are. And again, these are all just assessments. None of what I'm saying relates to how I think like it should change, or I'm not saying like that girl should go get in a relationship. The main thing for me though is just that like I just think Michael B. Jordan he's directing the latest Creed.
Dude, he's
He's
the creme
taken
de la creme. It doesn't get any better than that.
it really doesn't get any better than that. And there's just something I can honestly say rubs me the wrong way when I see a woman who's really not accomplished anything, just because she's good looking and famous for being somebody's kid, to see her publicly devalue a man who built himself up from nothing to being to being like the star of 2 franchises at 36.
Whew, wow.
I just don't. And personally, not like I'm suggesting there should be some big narrative change. The world is what it is, and I'm just commenting on it.
Okay.
But I think that sends a crazy message to women. I just think it's like a crazy message to undervalue men of such status, and such accomplishment and integrity. I mentioned on the stream that Michael B. Jordan is in the background of so many movies from the early 2000s, and you never know. Yeah, you never noticed him because he was just paying his dues. And now he's the star of 2 major franchises and considered to be basically the sexiest man in Hollywood right now. And I just don't think there's anything cool about that kind of like, yeah, is what it is, like fucking, dudes ain't shit kind of mentality, especially when we're talking about cats like Michael B. Jordan. I just have a lot of respect for Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, well, I think what this goes to show is that women, celebrities and regular women, they have a false sense of abundance. My guess is that if Lori Harvey really and truly understood that men like Michael B. Jordan don't come along all the time, then I think that her mindset maybe would be different. But just like the average rank and file woman, we hear him say this stuff on podcast all the time. We hear it on Fresh and Fit. We hear it on Just Burly Things. We hear it on the Saucecast. Their credo is there's always going to be somebody else. There's always going to be another man. Lori Harvey, like most average women, she thinks that high value men are just going to, it's just going to be a complete, she thinks that there's always going to be another Future. There's always going to be another Drake. There's always going to be another Jay-Z. But what she doesn't realize is that when she gets to a certain age, these men are not going to want to mess with her anymore. And this is what gets, regular women in trouble. They have this false sense of abundance. And Lori Harvey is perpetuating this false sense of abundance. It's just like you said, well, hell, if Lori Harvey can just up and leave Michael B. Jordan, who is clearly the it guy in Hollywood right now, then you know what? Then I can certainly, leave the it guy of my town. I've got a high-value boyfriend, but if it wasn't good enough for Lori Harvey, it's not good enough for me. What are your thoughts on how what Lori is doing pertains to, I guess, because I know you don't like to compare, civilians with celebrities, but there are a lot of parallels because even though, celebrities have a few more commas in their net worth, they are people too. That does not make them immune to hypergamy and things of that nature.
No, it doesn't. But the difference I'm making is like a girl from my income bracket would never leave Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
That's the girl that would realize like this will never happen again. Whereas I'm more so, and I just want to make this clear, especially being a white guy talking about a high status black woman.
Okay.
I'm not shitting on the girl as much as I'm just making a really, really interesting assessment of how celebrities live in a form of psychosis. So none of these real world things about what you want for your life, and when you want it. Do you want it when you're young and fertile? And do you want it in your prime, or do you want to basically waste your prime dicking around? That's kind of the assessment I'm making about a girl like her, because I truly think she lives in a realm of psychosis where the celebrity world is just a playground for her to sample high status men, pick them up and put them down. And at the end of every one of those relationships is a magazine waiting for her. It's a brand waiting for her. So it's probably impossible for her to separate relationships, her image, and her business. It's also probably impossible for her to even have the idea that like a relationship falling apart, much less a relationship falling apart with a high status man, is a bad thing when there's press waiting at the end of it, when there's deals waiting at the end of it, when there's new opportunity waiting at the end of it. The fact that you could be famous for a marriage that fell apart and it can make you the star of a reality show Like it just adds on the
sense.
pile of why it's no big deal for like a woman to have a failed marriage.
Guys, Kevin and I are going to be having these kinds of conversations every week, starting this Saturday. This Saturday at 3:00 p.m., Kevin and I will be doing a regular weekly podcast. We don't know what it's going to be called yet. We're leaning towards, back to the basics. But Kevin, if you would explain to my audience why you felt it was necessary for us to have these kinds of conversations, just given where the manosphere and the red pill community is right now.
Well, part of it's where the manosphere is, and part of it is my strength. When I got pulled into the manosphere, I like asked myself, like, do I really have knowledge to give to young men that I think even though like I'm young, if I'm just a couple years older than a few of the guys that are watching, then that means I just have a couple more years of trial and error to tell them how these things really play out. And that was a lot of the material that I was introduced to when I got into the red pill. Now, the fact that the red pills become so much more entertainment and assessment of celebrities and things like that, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Fresh and Fit's fantastic. Kevin Samuels was fantastic. Pearl does her thing. Rolo's obviously great at his breakdowns of everything that he pulls from the media to use for his shows. But I just am more useful at giving hard, direct game. Okay. And I'm hoping there's still an audience out there for it. I mean, I know there is, but I don't want direct game, like giving guys direct advice to get buried in the algorithm of red pill content because of how valuable it was to my life. So let me put it to you like this. 3 years ago, I would have told a younger brother figure just to get into the red pill. Today, I'd say more so like I'd have to give him a copy of the Rational Mail, or I'd have to like pull a specific video and gear him in that direction if he needed direct advice, because a young man might find red pill and you can still get the lessons from the talk shows and everything. But what also can happen is you could just become a red pill nerd. Now, that's no fault of a show like Fresh and Fit. It's no fault of a show like Kevin Samuels. But there's just a lot of guys that never really experience much interaction with women, but they become diehard Fresh and Fit fans. Yeah. And maybe they're learning the information like on paper, so to speak. Yep. But for them to become super fans of the show, and that's like their only basis for the information, a lot of them probably aren't getting out there, or I don't want to say probably, but there is certainly, we know, a portion of the audience that is only watching these shows like it's a TV show for entertainment and not actually testing out any of the material themselves, which used to be a huge part of what we did. Is we give you game, now you have to go out into the world and you need to test this out to compare your own notes.
Yeah, we call this affectionately, we call it red pill masturbation. There are a lot of guys who could a lot of guys who could give you all the answers to the shit tests, and you know who they are. We know who they are, and listen, shout out to those guys, especially the guys that are new. But every once in a while, you'll see, my staffer will tell me in the comments, like, why is this person saying, well, the best way to succeed with modern women is to not give them attention, and I think to myself, like, no shit. Like that's kind of where I'm at. But there needs to be a conversation that is more geared towards that than the advanced stuff. And I think that that's why me and your show is going to be very important, because it really is going to get back to the basics. We want to encourage men not to just masturbate on the red pill. Don't get me wrong. It is fun watching Myron and Fresh dunk on these delusional hoes on Fresh and Fit. It's even more fun to be involved in the dunking on of women. Dude, the most fun I ever have on podcasts is when I'm on Fresh and Fit. Those are a lot of fun. They're a barrel of laughs, but we know that there are a portion of men who they watch this stuff. They have no intention of ever testing it out or actually going out to try to make money, make muscles, learn game and hold frame. And I think that's why this is important. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way I can put it is I've come to see that so many guys are becoming red pill book smart and not red pill street smart.
There it is. Woo.
And that's kind of basically what I want to get into on our first show, because I can clearly see that Rollo Tomasi is both. Like I've seen how women look at Rollo. I've hung with him in public. You know what I mean? I've seen how Rollo interacts. So I've actually seen a sense of game in real life, a sense of masculine frame, a sense of how he carries himself. So Rollo's information being translated onto a young kid that has none of that, it's great that he's learning the information. But if he's only becoming a red pill nerd by his own misunderstanding of how to properly use the information, then he's basically just collecting a bunch of information, and that can become basically more of a new hobby than something that changes you.
Okay.
And that's what I'm realizing. Like I talk to guys that are fans of some of these channels, and they really embrace the rational male, and they really embrace the information. And I'm kind of like, cool. So when are you going to get out and test
Thank
this
you.
out? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all fantastic information, but it's really because I kind of pity the process some of these guys are going through, because finding the rational male for a guy like me who already had a bunch of social interaction with women, some wins, some losses, it hits so much differently. And so if you've had none of that, you actually got to go out and practice some of this and see what works for yourself. Otherwise, I think you're basically just taking up a newfound hobby of delving into evolutionary biology and how it can teach you about female nature. And you're listening to this come from Rolo, who was literally a rock star. I have footage of Rolo on MTV from the 80s.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
He is a
so
legit rock star. Yes.
yeah, so it's different. He may be a very book smart cat, but he lived a life that showed him why this works and doesn't work. And a lot of it is taken in by dudes who were never really shown nothing. They're just doing like the book smart aspect of that. So that's what they, yeah, that's why I want to kind of get back to it, because I really always appreciated the channels where it was half and half. A lot of it was a derivative of Rolo's material, but then it was guys that were also adding in their own experience. And then it's like the mesh of the two. It's like the gems from the rational male. It's the book smart part of it, but it's also kind of coming at you like a cool uncle that's just telling you how he won some and lost some with girls.
Yeah, absolutely. He is Kevin Savo, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, subscribe. So tell the people where they can find you, social media channels, etc.
Yeah, just punch in Red Pill Lions on YouTube. We come right up. Subscribe. We have a Discord server that's under the same name. All those links are on our channels. We have a pretty Red Pill song called Thought Mommies.
Yes,
type in the fella. Type in the fellas Thought Mommies. Rolo's actually a cameo in that.
Yes.
And then Donovan and Rolo were both cameos on my sitcom series, The Adventures of Captain Savaho. You could look at all those.
Love it. Like I said, man, I told you guys that MLD was going to be a star. I told you guys that Kevin Samuels was going to be a star. I told you guys that Myron Gaines was going to be a star. I told you that Pearl was going to be a star. Kevin Savo, y'all, he is next. He is absolutely next. He is as knowledgeable as they come. He's articulate. He's very he's talented in many ways. Sometimes I seek his advice on content because he's just that knowledgeable. Subscribe to his channel, guys, and do not forget to tune in this Saturday afternoon at 3:00 p.m., where we will be doing a weekly sit-down discussion like this. Kevin, thank you very much for making time for us today, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me and going over the content today, brother. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That is Kevin Savo. He is, like I said, guys, he is the guy that's next. He's the guy that's next. I don't think there's any question about whether or not he's got the talent. He's definitely got the talent, but I think he just needs a little bit of a push. And I mean, I like helping guys out. I really do. I don't want anything from anybody. The reason and Kevin Samuels used to Kevin Samuels, there we go. I'm stabilizing my my volume. Kevin Samuels used to get on me about this all the time. He used to tell me things like, dude, like why aren't you charging? Why aren't you charging for this stuff? Oh, something's wrong with my mic. Oh, hang on. Nope, I'm good. Oh, is that better? Oh, okay. Yeah, Kevin used to always get on me about it. He'd be like, dude, like you need to charge these people. He says, dude, you put MLD on, you put Myron on, he saw the success. He saw the success that all these people were having, and he's telling me, hey, you should start charging people for that. And I never felt the need to do that. And the reason for that is because I've already been successful. Like, you know, like, dude, I've made all the money. I've made all the money I've got. I mean, there's nothing else for me to get. Like, yes, I still have financial goals. I still have metrics that I want to hit, but I'm not going to, I don't know. I'm not going to charge somebody. And this might be the wrong thing to do. But me personally, I have a problem. I have a problem with charging. And this doesn't mean that I'm morally superior, because God knows. And I think part of the reason why, you know what? Let me just keep it real with you guys before we get into the breakdown here. The two main reasons why I'm so ready, willing, and able to help content creators is because, number one, I've been very, very financially successful here in the red pill. Dude, I've made more money. Good God, man. I made more money over the past maybe, 19 is when it popped. 19, 20, 21. Dude, I've made more money in the past 3 or 4 years than I'd made in the previous decade and a half, guys. So, and yes, I'm very, very motivated by money. I'm never going to be shy about that. Yes, part of the reason I do this is to help men, but nobody works for free. I am very good at what I do, and I want to be compensated as such. That's where you guys come in. The money that I make is the money that I have earned. The better you are at something, the more you have the potential to make. But the second reason I help people out is something that Kevin mentioned to me. He's like, "Look, Donovan, I know you want to pay back the universe for all of your past mistakes." He says your debt has been cleared. Your debt's been settled, man. Like, you have paid back the universe for all the wrong that you have done. And to a degree, he's probably right, but that's the second reason, is because I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've done a lot of bad things, and, you know, I still live a good life. And so it's, you know, to me, it would be incumbent of me to, you know, and a lot of that has to do with luck. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was, I mean, look, man, I've got good work ethic and I'm talented and all that, but guys, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that luck didn't have a little bit to do with the fact that I'm not sitting in a jail cell up in Lovelock, Nevada with OJ. I'm not going to tell you that luck didn't have anything to do with it, but by the same token, you know, I do realize that my situation, my circumstances could be very, very different at this point in time. And so, you know, I take it upon myself to pay it forward and to help guys out who are trying to make it in this community, man. You know, I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. All right, let's get to the super chats, and then we will get to the breakdown here. Black Wolf Inc. with the $5 super chat says, "I would compare Lori Harvey as the new Eartha Kitt and Marilyn Monroe. There is always an original, and Lori is just a professional pump and dump." You know what? That might actually be a more apt comparison. And Kevin did. I like that Kevin drew a clear delineation between Lori Harvey and Superhead and Brittany Renner. Superhead and Brittany Renner, they're classless. Like, dude, they wrote books, and I sucked this guy's dick, and he did that, and blah, 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 blah. Lori appears to have a little bit more class, at least publicly. So that's actually a very good comparison. Jay Blaze with the $2 super chat says his comparison to Hillary Swank having a kid at 48. Ay. Unbelievable. Ay. Miami J says, maybe if you charged, also you might feel obliged to bring someone on just because they paid, not because they deserved it. Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't put my name on just anybody, guys. I've had a lot of people reach out to me for advice and help, people that I'm even cool with. And at some point, I just had to have a difficult conversation with me, like, hey, look, man, I can give you all of the help that you want. You don't have it, man. This doesn't mean you're a bad person, but you just don't have the it factor. And it's not that they're not knowledgeable. It's just that you also have to be entertaining. You have to be knowledgeable and entertaining. And if you're not entertaining, people are just not going to watch, no matter how knowledgeable you are. And so to business. And so what we're going to do now is we are going to react to the very video that they did on the whole Lori Harvey situation. I would actually like to react to the interview that Lori Harvey did, but I'm not sure where this would stand in terms of something smells good downstairs, in terms of the copyright and all that. So I'm going to react to this. I'm going to react to this because I'm going to tell you what, for a bunch of young guys like Kevin, I think is 25, 26. Rocky is a couple of years younger than him. These guys drop some gems for young guys, and I think that these guys are definitely next. So here we go.
Michael Jordan, not Michael B. Jordan. Michael Jordan, the basketball player. He has 2 sons. You'll never hear from them. You'll never hear anything about him. Steve Harvey has a stepdaughter and somehow catapults herself into fame.
Well, the question I was asking myself, because I don't like to refer to celebrities often to make my points, is there a lesson to be learned from Lori Harvey splitting from Michael B. Jordan? And I have one. And the lesson is that women will use you for your status, but more than the status of being with you, for the status also of having left you.
What made you say this? What are you feeling in this time?
I just feel like I'm growing. I feel like I'm growing as a woman, as an individual. So I just feel like, this time is about me, self-love,
I feel like I'm growing as a woman, as an individual. So right off the bat, Lori is revealing, she is displaying her female nature for all the world to see. I feel like I'm growing. Just because you feel like you're growing does not mean you're growing. Women will say whatever they have to justify their emotional decisions. Just because you feel like you're growing does not mean that you're growing. That's just how it is. Just like we said, she just dumped Michael B. Jordan. That is the highest, and I'm going to tell you something else too. There's still time for Lori. She's only 26 years old. She is dude, Lori Harvey is a hard 10. The woman is fucking gorgeous. Could have literally any man she wants, regardless of race. Dude, white dude. Lori Harvey is everybody's type. Lori Harvey is absolutely everybody's type. She still has time to realize it and get it together. But like Kevin said, and I agree, it's not going to happen until it's too late. That's unfortunate for her.
growth.
Yeah.
Just being patient with myself in every stage as I'm growing.
But I feel like even saying like I'm single and saying this is a single woman on the cover, you've been in, like I said, so many relationships that we've heard about.
Uh-oh.
And you're like, yes, I've been attached to these things. It's about someone or someone else. How does it feel to finally be able to do a cover like this and be like, it ain't about them?
It is. You're talking about it right now.
And what does that mean to you?
So Adrian, the host, and I don't know what her last name is because I don't do this gossip show type stuff. But what Adrian just referred to is she's been in a lot of relationships. She's been in a shit ton of relationships. She's just asking her straight up, hey, you've been in a shit ton of relationships, but now because you're not in a relationship anymore, now you can do these covers. Sweetheart, you can model whether you're in a relationship or not. It almost insinuates that she is now free to do modeling covers and magazine covers because she's not in a relationship. Dude, Michael was never going to tell. No, dude, Michael never kept Lori from modeling. She's beautiful. That's what she's going to do. Yeah, Dre the Dream says, oh man, misandry at its best. Dude, you better believe it. Black Wolf Inc. with the $5 super chat, and I'll get to the Mahomes conversation with REA 12 figures here shortly, says, how can she be growing when she keeps doing the same thing? She gets with a famous dude, dates him for a few months, then break up. Insanity. So now that Adrian has brought this up, let's take a look. Let's take a look at Lori Harvey's dating history here. Let's take a look at her dating history. There is the ravishing Miss Harvey. So this might surprise a lot of people. A lot of people may not have realized this, but Lori Harvey, not too long ago, was actually linked to Andrew Tate. She is actually linked to Andrew Tate for a little while. It's not something that Not something Andrew talks about too often. But she was linked to Andrew Tate. And Dr. B84 correctly points out, says 10 relationships that we know of. That's exactly right. So then was Memphis Depay. Memphis Depay, we all watched him in the World Cup. Justin Combs, son of P. Diddy. Now we've got Future. Yeah, listen, Future has smashed them all. Future smashed them all. Future has smashed all of the hoes. Oh, then she actually dated Diddy. She dated Diddy. So she dated Diddy's son, and then she dated Diddy. Wow. Holy moly. Then she dated Lewis Hamilton, 7-time Formula One champion. And it says rumor. Look, if it's a rumor, it's true. Where there's smoke, there's fire. She smashed them. Then Trey Songz. You're going to find a lot of the same. You're going to find a lot of the same guys on these dating lists, guys. Going to find a lot of these guys on the dating list. Because we're going to go over Superhead's dating history as well as Brittany Renner's. She's dated Trey Songz. Boutiam, I have no idea who he is. Michael B. Jordan, and of course, most recently, Damson Idris. He is the star of the FX show Snowfall. I haven't seen it, but I want to watch it because I've seen like the previews, like from what he started with to where he is now. It's actually quite remarkable. I might actually start watching that. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Brittany Renner's dating history. Let's take a look at Brittany Renner's dating history. And again, this is that we know of. Of course, the late, great Kevin Samuels dated him for a bit. Then there is Casey Theriot, Colin Kaepernick. Oh, Trey Songz. See, a lot of the same guys are going to be on these lists. She dated Trey Songz, Chris Brown, Tyga, Ben Simmons, Caesar Chukwuma, Lil Uzi Vert, Drake, James Harden. Like, dude, she has smashed them all. Jamal Murray, of course, most infamously PJ Washington, and most recently, Kevin Gates. And again, these are the people that we know of. These are the people that we know of. Now, you notice that, and we're just going to go by the numbers we see here. So Lori Harvey is 26 years old. There's only 10 famous people on here. We know our notch count is higher than that, but for the sake of argument, we're just going to, okay, there's 10. Brittany Renner is what, 31, 32 years old? She's up to 14. And these are just celebrities. We don't know about any of the other stuff that she's gotten up to. Now we're going to go to Corinne Steffens, a.k.a. Superhead. The number is 83. 83. Again, Brittany Renner's at 14. Lori Harvey's at 10. Superhead is at 83. And guys, she has dated, dude, she has smashed them all. Look at this. I can't even scroll down. I can't even scroll down fast enough. But Corinne Steffens, dude, Superhead has smashed them all. I don't know who Mr. Marcus is. Dude, Common, Too Short, Usher, Ice-T, 50 Cent. Like, dude, everybody. Dude, Method Man, Jay-Z, Q-Tip, Ghostface, Irv. God damn, I didn't know Irv Gotti hit it. Dude, Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Pete Rock, Big Pun. Like, dude, Fred. I didn't even know she fucked with Fred Durst. Ray J. Jesus. Pusha T. Nas. Dude, Big Boy from Outkast. Dude, Nelly, Scarface. Dr. Dre, Denzel, Ludacris, Busta Rhymes. Dude, Busta Rhymes and Merlin Santana, they aren't even alive anymore. Neither is Big Pun. Like, Big Pun hit it, Andre 3000. Dude, look at this. So this bitch smashed Big Boy back in 2000. Then she worked her way over to Andre 3000 the very next year. So the bitch fucked. So she smashed Big Boy. She smashed Big Boy. Then a year later got with his homie, On Outcast, Andre 3000. You can't make this shit up. Dude, Fabulous, Lorenz Tate, KRS-One. God damn. Dude, Wyclef, Talib Kweli, Tony Yayo, Vin Diesel, Mace. Yeah, R.I.P. Merlin Santana. Oh, there's another one. There's P. Diddy. P. Diddy's in there again. Exhibit. Good. Got Mystical, ODB, DMX. Look, the bitch even dated Da Brat. Da Brat. Dude, she dated Dame Dash. I think I have a higher net worth than Dame Dash these days, which is a crying shame. Dude, Yassine Bey, Twista. Oh my God. Dude, so the bitch smashed Method Man and Redman. Wasn't Ghost. Oh my God. Dude, Bobby Brown, Trick Daddy, Eminem. Jesus Christ. Young Buck, Timbaland, Missy Elliott, Will Smith. Oh my God. Shaquille O'Neal, Russell Simmons, Chris Rock. Like, yo, this bitch is ran through. Ran through. Master P, Rakim, who, by the way, is the greatest MC of all time. Bill Maher? Like, Bill Maher got a piece of Superhead? Damn, Bill Maher. I ain't mad at that. Okay, Bill. All right, Bill Maher, I see you. I didn't know Bill Maher smashed. Neo, LL Cool. Dude, LL hit it. Lil Wayne hit it. Chris Brown, there's another familiar name. Shad Moss, a.k.a. Bow Wow. Darius McCrary. Oh, we got more. We got more. Snoop Dogg hit it. Soulja Boy hit it. Trey Songz. Trey Songz was the last. He was the last to hit it. So Trey Songz got sloppy 83rds. But holy moly. Every one of these dudes and bitches smashed out Superhead. This bitch is only 44. This bitch is only 44, and she has smashed the entire rap genre. Now, Lori Harvey appears to be on a little bit of a slower pace, only having dated 10 that we know of. But if she doesn't slow down, man, if she doesn't slow down, it could get very, very ugly. This is why I say that Lori Harvey is the next Superhead. And she's the next Brittany Renner and soon to be the next Superhead. Let's continue.
It feels very empowering.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I feel like
Empowering.
this year especially, like I'm really stepping into my own, coming to my own as a woman. I feel like I'm
Pause.
officially kind of getting grown now.
Okay.
Pause. Okay, so outside of them being like, oh, so, you know, very popular relationships you're with, talking about Michael B. Jordan, obviously.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry about that. 2 seconds. We do it live. No. Hang on. I hit the hot. Come on now. What are we doing? There we go. I hit the hot corner. Sorry about that.
When anyone says her name, what follows that name?
Her dad.
Your Steve Harvey, stepdaughter, whatever. Steve Harvey, like everything is attached to, you know, the status of men in her life. And so if you want to, like, if I was her and I wanted to have this interview be about actually how, like, I don't know what the fuck she does, if she's talented or not, but I'd be like, yeah, I just don't bring up past relationships or past men or fucking the fact that I'm the first single woman on top of this cover, because if you actually have something that is of value other than the people you've been with, don't bring it up. Here you guys are talking about it.
So Rocky makes a very, very good point. He makes an excellent point. And this is why Lori Harvey has to be careful. One thing that I advise women to do is when they're in situations with people that they are interested in, the number one thing I tell them to do not talk about your past relationships. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not talk about your past relationships. Because every man, it's really a pride thing. Well, the fragile male ego, blah, 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 blah. Maybe there's a little bit of that. Maybe there's not. But nobody wants to know everybody who skated in you. When Devin and I were on Fresh and Fit, they asked Devin, hey, what's the worst first date you've ever been on? You know what Devin said? She's like, I don't talk about my past relationship. I do not talk about my past relationships. What? That's what she said. She says, I have a relationship to preserve. That's what she said. She says, I have a relationship to preserve. Lori Harvey does not have that luxury.
Yeah, what I can't get past is that she's basically a Kardashian-esque celebrity in the fact that she is the child of a famous person, or much less the stepdaughter of a famous person. I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize that
It's a child.
Yeah, but I didn't realize she was Steve's stepdaughter.
Is her last name?
Yeah, and
How
then
does how is she a stepdaughter with Steve Harvey's last name? Was that just
A young stepdaughter. He probably cuffed up a single mama.
Yeah, well, he probably
Yep. See, I didn't realize that Lori Harvey was Steve Harvey's stepdaughter. I thought that was his daughter from another mother. I didn't realize she was a stepdaughter.
took that.
What does she do?
She's riding off the celebrity status of the men she dates and who her stepdad is, and now she can launch a skincare line and things
There it
like
is.
that. How much involvement she has in that other than just representing the brand, I don't know. But the main thing is, yeah, she really isn't known for anything. Like, she is not also an actress. So, like, I'm saying, like, I'm not just saying, like, oh my God, she's a woman, I can't listen to her. Oh my God, she's hot off a breakup, I can't listen to her.
Well, I'm going to say it. Oh my God, she's a woman. I can't listen to her. Yeah, the reason we should listen to women like Lori Harvey is because they're giving us a glimpse into the real-time thought process of the average woman. Again, Lori Harvey is not the average woman. She's not the average woman. She's a celebrity, higher net worth, and all the rest of that. But guys, I tell you guys all the time, just because she's a celebrity absolutely does not mean that she is not still a slave to her biology. Just because a woman has a few more commas to her net worth does not mean that she does not adhere to what we consider to be the truth about the sexual marketplace. This is why Kim Kardashian is going to have problems dating, because she can't go any lower than Ye. She can't. Lori Harvey, she can't go any lower than Michael B. Jordan or Damson Idris. Women are never going to seek their equal. They are going to seek their superior. And the more fame, status, money, clout a woman acquires, the further she shrinks her pool of potential suitors. To take it one step further, when they are aware of who you have been skeeted in by, that shrinks it even more. The Fit Comedian member for 13 months, says future smashing chicks like catching Pokemon. Bruh, he's caught them all. He has caught them all. Big Mo 89 with the $5 super chat says Bill Maher was dabbling in the dark. And then another $2 super chat to correct that. Appreciate that very, very much. Before we continue, shout out to REA 12 Figures with the $10 super chat says, just joining. Did I miss the conversation about the Super Bowl? Mahomes is the new GOAT. I talked briefly about the Super Bowl. I talked more about Jalen Hurts than Patrick Mahomes. No, Mahomes is not the new GOAT. He's got a ways to go. Mahomes is the BOAT. I think he is the best of all time. When I say he's the best of all time, that means Mahomes is he's, as far as talent is concerned, yeah, he's the BOAT. Brady is clearly the GOAT. He's got a few more Super Bowls to win before we can start calling him the GOAT. Let's continue.
But the fact that she's not even like another respected actress, like this is not another actor who carries a franchise. There's actresses that carry franchises. There's actresses that are a big deal in Hollywood. She's just like one of the hotter celebrities.
Yeah, it's just so cringy. Like, the prize for what? Are you just talking about your looks? I've not heard you say one thing during this awkwardly cringy interview that shows me any value of like being a prize. Like, oh my God, Lori Harvey's my wife. Dude, she's an author. She does this. She's okay, great. You have a skincare line that you tell, hey, make my skincare and put my fucking slap my name on it.
She could just be the face of it, so to speak. Because
that's a brand ambassador. You're a face.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's guys' night for Michael, but he appeared to have different energy. An eyewitness tells ET the actor attended Game 2 of the NBA Championship Series looking, quote, a little sad and unenthusiastic. Our source adds he didn't mingle or take photos. Instead,
And because it's playing in slow motion, because StreamYard sucks, you can even get like a real slow-mo play of how bent out of shape he is.
Hi to G-Eazy. What we'll miss most about the stunning couple, that undeniable chemistry.
So, what this also demonstrates, gentlemen, is what we talk about a lot. When there is a breakup, women will win in the beginning. Women will win in the beginning. They always win in the short term. Men always win in the long term. We always win in the long term. They like to characterize, well, Michael B. Jordan is sad and lonely because he lost Lori Harvey. Well, he loved Lori Harvey. He loved Lori Harvey. But in the long term, Michael B. Jordan, he is going to end up winning.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically everybody said that he like really fell in love with her, and dude, this dude built himself up from nothing, man. He was what Michael B. Jordan was in the early 2000s is not different from like what Kevin Hart was. Is like,
yeah.
You ever notice how Kevin Hart was in the background of everything when we were kids, and we didn't even realize it till he popped.
Soul Plane and all the other shit. Yeah,
Scary Movie.
Yeah.
He was like the background guy. He in 40-Year-Old Virgin for 2 seconds. So you can
I love how these guys are aging themselves when we were all kids. That's great.
actually play that back, and you can think about that level of paying your dues, because we see a lot of people rise to fame that just like, you never heard about them before, and then the next thing you know, they're the biggest thing on the planet, truthfully. But Kevin Hart is in the background of everything our whole childhood, and then he blows up, and you can look back and you could see all the paid dues. Think about it like this: Kevin Hart was a cameo who was on screen for like 2 minutes in 40-Year-Old Virgin, but if 40-Year-Old Virgin was made today, he would be either the lead or a bigger role in that. And it was kind of the same thing with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan played a bunch of small parts and a bunch of shit for the longest time. Now is the character Killmonger?
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
Killmonger.
Wow,
I just never got much into Black Panther, just simply because like I just wasn't big on the CGI. I'm not crazy about Marvel. But now he's basically has a career much like Stallone, because unlike everybody else in Stallone's camp, Arnold and Bruce and everybody, Stallone is one of the few cats that carried 2 franchises. So he's Rambo and Rocky. Well, at this early on in his life, I don't want to say his career, but the cat's only in his 30s or so.
Yep, 36.
He's already doing the same thing. He's Killmonger and he's Creed. And he's like
but Killmonger's not the lead.
He's not the lead, but
He was more talked about than Chadwick Boseman when it first came out.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
I thought that Michael B. Jordan was the lead.
Well, the question I was asking myself, because I don't like to refer to celebrities often to make my points, is there a lesson to be learned from Lori Harvey splitting from Michael B. Jordan? And I have one. And the lesson is that women will use you for your status, but more than the status of being with you, for the status also of having left you.
Wow. There we go. There we go. This is a very, very good point that Kevin makes. That's a very good point that Kevin makes. And I'll actually take it a step further. As recently as, 10, 15 years ago, women used to use guys, date them for status, and then that's kind of where it ended. Hey, I dated this guy, I dated that guy, blah, 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 blah. But now here Lori Harvey is being praised for not only having dated Michael B. Jordan, but also having left him. And this is exactly that false abundance that I was referring to. The way Lori Harvey is acting, she thinks that there's going to be another. She thinks that there's going to be another. There are going to be other Michael B. Jordans. Now, she'll get a few more Michael B. Jordans, but they're not going to be around forever. She needs to lock one of those down. Let's continue.
Because to walk away from somebody so unbelievably high value and then sit down and do an interview,
It's a flex.
write a book, it is the biggest flex in the world. And that's what's so fucked up, is I can't tell what flex is bigger. From the perception of girls, and certainly from a highly feminist perspective, it probably is better for status to be like, not only was I with Creed, but I left Creed because even Creed can't satisfy me.
The next man she's with is if they're not of status equal or higher to Michael B. Jordan, forever in that relationship, he in his head is never going to compare to Michael B. Jordan. Like, damn, fuck.
Right. And again, and Rock is absolutely correct. Lori Harvey is never going to date a man of lower status than Michael B. Jordan. She's just not going to. She might date laterally as far as that's concerned, but she's never going below that. She's never, ever, ever going below that.
Fucking, she left Michael B. Jordan. I better be on my I better be on my shit.
I think the celebrity world is like a playground for women like her.
Yeah.
Just to kind of run around and enjoy your status and sample other wildly famous and renowned men. So likely her next man will be. And you guys can actually Google her roster real quick. I'm sure Michael B. Jordan is not the only super famous cat she's been with, but it's likely that her next man will be, because that's
her next man will probably.
And of course, the next man is Damson Idris. Damson Idris, right? And again, it always ends the same, guys. It always ends the same. Same with Brittany Renner. Started with Colin Kaepernick, and she worked her way up. Superhead, Jesus Christ. Superhead, man, she started with Common, and oh my God. I still can't get over. I still cannot get over the sheer volume. It's incredible. Let's continue.
If they're not on the same status as Michael B. Jordan, will be Will Smith type. Maybe he's not like in a relationship where the.
I think what Rocky is trying to say here is that whoever Lori Harvey ends up with, not necessarily the Will Smith type. I think what he meant to say was Russell Wilson type. That's what he meant to say. I disagree. Sierra got lucky. Sierra got extremely, extremely lucky. She got very, very lucky that Russell Wilson rescued her from a lifetime of bad decisions. There will not be a Russell Wilson for Lori Harvey. There will not be. There's not going to be a Russell Wilson for Brittany Renner. There's not going to be a Russell Wilson for Superhead. But even though Sierra got lucky with Russell Wilson, she's not attracted to that dude. She's not aroused by him. Listen, she's attracted to him. Professional athlete, makes a lot of money, but dude, I read an article a long, long time ago why Sierra will eventually cheat on Russell Wilson. The time is coming, guys. The time is coming. Sierra loves Russell Wilson simply because he rescued her. But women like Sierra secretly despise men like Russell Wilson. They do. There is no Russell Wilson for Renner. There will be no Russell Wilson for Lori Harvey.
A woman still writing letters to, like, you know how Jada was writing letters to Pac about how that's the only man he'll ever love. Mm-hmm. She'll ever love. She doesn't have to be crazy about him still and like still thinking about him, but in his head he'll be like, damn, I could never compare to Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, that's a hell of a thing. And I didn't even realize, because we talked about it so much in the sphere, but I didn't even see the clips until recently where Will Smith was openly telling the Breakfast Club, like, do you know how hard that was to be with that girl with the impression that Pac left on her?
That's what I'm saying.
Talking about how jealous he was. And think about the two perspectives. It's not just Pac is more alpha. It's Pac had a better rap career. Of course, Will Smith had an overall better career, with movies and everything. Pac dipped into movies, but
it's funny. See that? Pac had a better rap career than Will Smith. When Tupac died, what was his net worth? What, $1 million? Probably not even that. Yeah, Devin, look that up for me. What was Tupac's net worth when he died? Yet, clearly the better choice, Will Smith, who's probably worth $500 million, Jada despises him. She despises him. Guys, this is the way women are. Man. Black Wolf Inc., member for 28 months, says Michael B. Jordan got a supermodel. He been one. Let's take a look at that. So it says Michael B. Jordan, 35, reportedly dating British model Amber Jepson, 26. There's the lovely Miss Jepson at 26 years old. I took the liberty of picking up her Instagram. And Miss Jepson is quite delectable. Quite attractive. If Amber Jepson had any common sense, common sense, she would absolutely make a move to lock down MBJ. She would absolutely want to make a move to lock down Michael B. Jordan. She absolutely should. She absolutely should. You want to know why she should? You want to know why she should? Because when black women come out with their annual list of black athletes and celebrities who have white wives, Michael B. Jordan will inevitably end up on this list if he decides to wife this girl up. Black women are going to say, "Oh, there's another one of us brothers going to the other side." Yeah. Michael B. wanted to marry Lori Harvey. He proposed to her, and she said no. She said no. So, yeah, I'm glad he's dating Amber Jepsen. I'm glad he's dating Amber Jepsen. Just to shut all them the fuck up. And to be quite honest with you, man, dude, Lori Harvey might be the last black woman Michael B. Jordan ever dates. If he's lucky. If he's lucky. Yeah, Miss Jepsen looks great. She looks absolutely wonderful. You better believe it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Dude, she's a model. She looks good. Absolutely. He wins. He wins. He wins. He absolutely wins. He absolutely wins. The Fit Comedian with the $5 super chat says, I worked with a girl who went to school with Sierra. She said she never dated anyone like Russell. She will cheat soon. Yeah, well, yes. Yeah. 100%, dude. 100%. Let's continue.
Pac never did super huge movies, not on the level that Will Smith did. I know
those movies are kind of big because Pac's in it.
Shout out to Devin, who found the information that I was looking for. Tupac, when he died, had a net worth of $200,000 at the time of his death. So yes, my net worth is higher than Tupac's was. That's how much of a bum he was, right? And I know a lot of people are going to hate on that. Oh, Tupac. Look, man, say what you will about Tupac. He was very, very talented, but Tupac and Will Smith, that is the perfect dichotomy. Tupac, his net worth was $200,000. He would get far more action in this day and age than Will Smith, who's worth a zillion times more than that. It's the world we live in, guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing to bring up. I mean, you take Pac out of Juice or Poetic Justice, and those are just like whatever the fuck flicks. Yeah, well. But rap-wise, you talk about a dude that really his career started in rap, and Will Smith has some funky records. I always loved Will Smith rap.
Yeah, Baker19 says Tupac was a son husband. He absolutely was. He absolutely was. What a lot of people fail to realize or remain willfully ignorant about is that Tupac was a simp. Y'all, Tupac was a simp. He was a gangster in the studio. But in real life, that dude was a simp.
Records, but in the game, you know who's more respected.
Yeah.
So
it's not fucking getting simpy with it. No.
We could apply simp to.
Oh my god, dude! Hold up. Come on now. Rock with the dad joke. Devin puts in the chat, his primary assets were a 5-figure life insurance policy, which went to his half-sister, 2 cars and a single checking account that contained $105,000. He owned no real estate, had no retirement accounts, no stocks. He did not own the Woodland Hills mansion he lived in at the end of his life. The only asset of value that Afeni Shakur received from her son's estate soon after was a Mercedes-Benz SL 500. There we go. But Jada still writes this nigga letters. She still writes this nigga letters. Where $200,000 got snuffed out allegedly by Suge Knight, this bitch is still writing this dude letters.
Everything.
Yeah, for Simsgiving.
What people don't seem to think about is this is Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Almost everything could be fake. The first time I heard about Lori Harvey was she was dating Future. So you got to think, what if her team just did something like this to get her on the scene.
Publicity.
And now she's doing her new skincare and whatnot.
Yep.
And she just broke up with the highest value
It's a money move. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Good
And a
point.
lot of that shit is manufactured sometimes.
I don't think that was manufactured. I think Michael B. Jordan truly loved Lori Harvey. Otherwise, he would not have proposed to her. Now, is there a possibility that the whole thing was staged? Sure. But we can't have it both ways. We can't sit here and talk about, well, it was probably staged, but then watch the news when they're like, oh, he seems very lonely without her. I don't know. He might have been lonely without her, but I think he's getting along just fine. I think Ms. Jepsen is doing a very good job of helping him to get over the lovely Ms. Harvey. That's for sure.
That's
Like rap beef.
That's the reason.
Yep.
That's the reason I feel so torn about referring to celebrities to make red pill points. I got the best red pill lessons out of it that I could, but I don't want to counter what the girls do, because the girls could so many times be looking at a manufactured relationship for status that equates to putting eyes on your brand and say, well, look at these two. Look at Future and Future's current bitch. Well, they don't have the problems that you're describing. And
Not yet.
I'm like, I just don't know what kind of grounds for comparison that is. But whether it's in the business sense or it's in a sense of having a personal flex, the flex still works both ways. It works both ways to say, I'm a woman of very little accomplishment other than the family I was born into and being pretty. But even Michael B. Jordan and Future wasn't good enough for me. The only place to go from there is Drake. And then if Drake don't do it for you, who are you going to fuck after that, Lil Wayne?
To women, it's an ego trip, because when you are like trying to compare yourself to a celebrity female in correlation to your relationship, so you know how men think of like status, like and when they make that, when a woman makes that comparison, you try to wrap your head around like her comparing herself to say Kylie Jenner for the status. They're comparing themselves to the woman like, well, look at, I'm attractive and Kylie Jenner's attractive, so like I don't understand why the situation couldn't be in my favor. When we're thinking, okay, Kylie Jenner's a fucking billionaire, and you're living in a 1-bedroom condo your mom pays for.
Yeah, but and Rocky will soon learn and understand this. It doesn't matter what a woman's net worth is. It doesn't matter. If you are attractive as a woman, high-value men will find you. High-value men will find you. It doesn't matter if you're Kylie Jenner of the Kardashian dynasty, or if you're Kylie Smith who works at freaking Starbucks. High-value men will date any woman if she's hot enough. Doesn't matter who she is. Doesn't matter what her net worth is.
So how are you making this comparison? So they literally just compare like, well, this one pretty woman gets a bunch of free shit from her husband, so why can't you buy stuff for me?
Well, the worst aspect of that is all the high status celebrities, including actors, men I'm talking about, that have wifed up really hot broke women.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're very used to seeing celebrity power couples as they're explained, but oftentimes many high status male actors have wifed up a martini lounge bartender who was just that hot.
There you go.
Because the status to us isn't a woman's accomplishments.
That's right.
You and I refer to accomplishments.
See? Bingo. Bingo. Baker19 says Hannah Jeter. Hannah Jeter is the perfect example. She is the perfect example. Yes, she used to be Hannah Davis and she was a supermodel, but she loves her some Derek. She loves her some Derek.
More in our personal life when we talk about women, that's maybe not like the best red pill point, but it's always something that you look for as a factor of what makes up her mentality. So it's like, do you do nothing but source dudes that can make you look better? Right. Or do you have literally motherfucking anything going on?
I got a great comparison. For example, Michael Jordan, not Michael B. Jordan. Michael Jordan, the basketball player, he has 2 sons. You'll never hear from them. You'll never hear anything about them.
That's right.
Steve Harvey has a stepdaughter and somehow catapults herself into fame. It's like, okay, if you're Michael Jordan's son, you can probably try to go get...
Michael Jordan's son is only really famous now for having smashed Larsa Pippen. Like that's really the only thing that Michael Jordan's son is famous for, is having smashed the severely post-wall Larsa Pippen. That's how it is, man.
get like a real famous chick in Hollywood. It might take, it might not. You're Steve Harvey's daughter and you're bad. You can just pretty much try to like leverage yourself into anybody, and then that's how you get your career started.
Rock, you are so underrated in this game because you just made me think of so many things I wasn't thinking about previously. You just made me think about how, look at all the sons.
See, Ice Dragon Kid says, I didn't know he had sons. Exactly. Exactly. Like, very few people are aware that Michael Jordan, basketball player, has sons. And that's because if you are an attractive, and again, this just goes to what we talk about all the time. Men are made, women are born. When a woman is born, an attractive woman is born into wealth, she doesn't really have to do anything to make anything of herself. She's attractive, right? Lori Harvey's not an actress. She's an attractive woman who's dated a bunch of high-status men. And so now she's launching her skincare line, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't work that way for guys. And it is what it is. I'm not here to complain about it. It just is what it is.
Sons of great men that try to become their own man and try to have their own career, and look at how much more of a challenge it is for them.
Because even if you're Michael Jordan, the basketball player's son, if you start dating a celebrity female, you can't catapult yourself into fame.
There you go.
Even being Michael Jordan's son,
right.
If you're Steve Harvey's daughter, or fucking give me some other random celebrity, it doesn't matter, like Chris Hansen from Dateline NBC, if you're his daughter, if you catapult yourself into a relationship from your dad's name of status, which is barely nothing anyway, you can become a huge fucking celebrity.
Yeah, it makes me think of...
Again, there it is. There it is, man. There it is, man. There it is. See? See? And again, I'm not here to complain about it, but that's just how it is.
About Biggie's kid.
Yeah.
Biggie,
Pun's yes.
Kid. It makes me think about all the guys that struggle to come out from under their dad's shadow.
Because men have to become and women just are. Those men.
Woo! This is a 23-year-old kid. This is a 23-year-old kid dropping this knowledge. There are men who are twice Rocky's age who don't understand that concept. That's why these guys are next.
Men have to become to get that status and get that girl. The women just are. So all she'll ever be is Steve Harvey's daughter.
Shout out.
And that's all she needs to be able to get. Oh, yeah. Oh, Future, who you with? Oh, you know, I'm with this girl. She's Steve Harvey.
Yep. JC says Stallone's. Yeah, you guys are all pointed out. Stallone's daughters are famous. Exactly. Their daughters are famous, right? His daughters are famous because they're his daughters and they're attractive. But his other son, Sage Stallone, the late Sage Stallone, I think he died of a drug overdose. I think he was in one of his movies. Oh, he was in Rocky V. Sage Stallone was in Rocky V, and then he was in Daylight. He was in Daylight, but nobody knew or cared who he was because he is the son of a celebrity. So even if you are born into privilege, have an advantage of being born into a celebrity or into a celebrity family, as a man, you still have to become. You still have to become. The world does not reward men for just existing. They just don't. The world does not just reward men for just existing. It does not work that way.
Harvey's daughter, and that's her status, and that's her come up. Chicks will be like, yeah, this is Michael Jordan's son that I'm with, and is he gonna?
Sean Morris, another great comparison. Tori Spelling, dude, Tori Spelling looks like a horse, and even she was famous because of her father, Aaron Spelling. It's all the same.
Basketball, no. Does he have a good career? No, but it's Michael Jordan's son. It's like, oh, that's great. What is he doing? If you're with Michael Jordan's daughter, you're like, oh, that's Michael Jordan's daughter right there.
Well, the thing that makes me think about is that's why you...
Another example by Dre Raven. Ric Flair's sons, they died young. Charlotte Flair followed in his footsteps. She's one of the biggest stars in the WWE.
You have that whole... and it is a masculine complex. It's a masculine complex of the child of a male...
Oh, my bad. Sage Stallone died from heart disease at 36. Okay, that's my mistake.
Right. Celebrity or a male performer who's established a career for himself and really became known for something, tries to establish something of his own. And it is a uniquely masculine complex for him to always be viewed as the son of the guy who became. Because, like, okay, like Chris Rivers has done just fine for himself. And he's a very different
Big Pun's son, if you don't know.
Yes, he's a very different rapper from Big Pun, but Big Pun became everything he was on his own. So it's so unfortunate for the young man because he's like our age and he's an unbelievable rapper. And I'm saying he's done fine for himself. But however, that whole creed complex, the son of the previously great man, when we look at the son try to come up, it is no advantage of him to be the son of a world-renowned man who had a famous career and a successful career, because we look at the father as already having become with no stepping stone. Now we always look at the son as saying like, well, he had more of a stepping stone.
Because look at how Rolo speaks on how Instagram and how people flex on Instagram. So with women, they flex their looks, and with men, they flex their lifestyle. Right. So outside of, like, say, for example, Michael Jordan's son having a lavish lifestyle because he's financially well off, Laura Harvey is an attractive young female. I don't know if she's young, an attractive female.
It's like my age.
Yeah. So if Laura Harvey was not attractive, she would get the same fucking look at as the same. She'd be looked at the same as Michael Jordan's son, have not accomplishing anything. So if she wasn't attractive, she'd be equal to Michael Jordan's son, not accomplishing anything.
It's interesting. Unattractive women they have that sort of in common with men. Unattractive women do have to become, in a sense. They do have to become, in a sense, right? They have to become higher quality women in order to attract high status men. They got to stay in shape. I mean, if they weren't born as pretty as Lori Harvey, they're busting their ass in the gym. They're working on their domestic skills, et cetera, et cetera.
But because she's a celebrity son and she's attractive, and that's where her status inflexes through social media and everything, that's what gives her value on top of being the son of Steve Harvey or the daughter of Steve Harvey.
It's also like Steve Harvey, he really does have some gems here and there for the male perspective. He's almost like, and I think Rolo's also made this comparison, that he is almost like a clean Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Like a Kevin Samuels that is still media friendly.
Yeah, Kevin Samuels, before he passed, he was clearly on his way to being the next Steve Harvey. Like, that was going to be him. That was absolutely going to be him.
But it's kind of funny. What the hell kind of advice can you give to? I mean, he's got to give advice to his daughter on like some like that's my baby girl princess kind of thing. Yeah. But it's so counter to like the little edge you have to have as a super famous man to know when you're being played or to know when you're just being used for status.
Can I make a point?
Yeah.
So I said this on Twitter and talking about in Frame. So Rolo saying men must become and women just are. I think that is the number one joy in life as a man, is the fact that you get the chance to become.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, all Laura Harvey is ever going to be is Steve Harvey's stepdaughter. Doesn't matter if she accomplishes a bunch of shit. The fact that, like, I would love, and I have the chance as a man, like, the chance to either succeed or fail on my own merits is what keeps me motivated. Woo. If I was Laura Harvey, I'd just be like, damn, well, if I failed all my dreams, it doesn't really matter because, I just am Laura Harvey. I just am attractive. And until her looks go, like, she'll have it made. The fact that you are a man and you get to become is the true, like, point and love and effort of life, because you get the opportunity to. And like it's crazy because women just are, but like I couldn't go through a world where like I couldn't build myself into who I want to be and fail on my own merits and succeed on my own merits. Because like even if you succeed and you're Laura Harvey, you're like, damn, oh, I succeeded with my own fucking skincare brand. It's like, yeah, that was nice. Let me just move on to something else, because the only reason why I got it is because I was with Michael B. Jordan and I was with Steve Harvey. She is not talented at all. She didn't build up anything at all other than being like, hey, I'm famous, and a brand being like, hey, you're famous. Here's a bunch of money. Let's make a brand with you. Yeah. She didn't fail or succeed on any of her merits, and she never will, because she just is.
Wow, this is Jesus. This is a 23-year-old kid. This is a 23-year-old kid embracing the masculine burden of performance. I talk about this often. Guys, embrace the struggle. Embrace the burden of performance. Embrace the masculine burden of performance. Man, embrace it. Because when you make it, it's that much sweeter. It's that much sweeter. Like guys, you guys know my story? I was raised by a strong woman and a weak present/absentee father. Right? I'm a self-made man in every sense of the word. All of the life lessons that I've learned, I had to learn them the hard way. I had to learn them the hard way, man. Darius Horton, here we go. Tracy Ellis Ross, that's exactly right. Tracy Ellis Ross, daughter of Diana Ross. Layla Ali, daughter of Muhammad Ali. Like these kids are pointing out facts that I don't think a lot of people really had considered. Men having to become, and women just are. You guys can see it on the celebrity level. You guys can see it on the celebrity level. When women are born into Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is famous for being famous. That's it. Her father's the Hilton Hotel patriarch, whatever the case may be. The only reason why Paris Hilton is famous is because, well, of who her father is. She hasn't done anything of note. She hasn't done anything otherwise. And you want to know something? And I say it again, I'm not here to cry about it. I'm not here to cry about it. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Anybody who bitches and moans about, women being able to live life on easy mode, you have to accept that. It's the way it is. Lisa Marie Presley, there's another one. JC says far more famous daughters than famous sons because it's easier for the daughters. Absolutely, man. Ice Dragon Kid says most famous daughters are huge 304s. Yep, and famous for fucking. I mean, dude, that's how to become a celebrity here in 2023. Be attractive and born into a celebrity or well-to-do family, or do a sex tape. Kill Chase, welcome to chat privileges. At Kill Chase, to welcome him to the TSR family. If you would, Kill Chase, put your age and location in the chat, as is customary of all of our first members. Let's go ahead and do a chat-wide age and location check. Let's continue.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, if you're like a random viewer, it probably sounds like we're shitting on women. Like, can a girl get anything for herself? I'm like, yes, a woman can get something for herself. We're not talking about an equal to Michael B. Jordan. An equal to Michael B. Jordan would be a talented and successful female actor. It would be a talented and successful actress, an actress that is. You
have to scratch and claw for each opportunity that comes, and you got to build yourself up in being an actress. Like, the girls like this that could grow up with easy status attached to their name, or just like, you're born into a wealthy family. You didn't earn anything. Like as much as the Kardashians are famous, and like even their
Kill Chase, wow, 19 years old. Shout out to you. The fact that Kill Chase is 19 years old and has found this community, man, that is already a W. That is already a W. Dude, I can't even imagine how much better my life would be if I had found this community. This community didn't exist when I was 19, but oh my goodness. You young guys, man, dude, look, take note, and thank your lucky stars that this community is around. Good for you, Casey.
Looks like they bought them. They had to get plastic surgery, not even just on their body and their breast and their ass, like their face. Like, it's all something they didn't have to work for, and then you get a TV show and you can just be however you want because you're just slowly building your fame with every time you're seen on television. So they didn't have to become, and that must suck. It must suck to not have the opportunity to become, but at the same time, women are going to leverage it and use it because that's all they have. So many young women look up to people that have no talent, that didn't have to become anything.
Yes.
How do you look up to somebody that's never become, and you expect to like look up to that person and like Mac Miller has this line where
this is interesting. So Rocky is now laying bare his male nature for all the world to see. That's a great question. Why in the world would we look up to anyone who didn't become? Why would we look up to someone who, like, men, we don't look up to trust fund babies. We don't look up to men who won the lottery. No. We look up to men like Andrew Tate. We look up to men like Justin Waller, guys who started with nothing, self-made men. That's who we look up to. Women look up to Cardi B, who has admitted to drugging and robbing her clients back when she was a prostitute. They look up to Kim Kardashian, who is famous for getting smashed out on camera by Ray J. We don't look up to people like that. We couldn't if we wanted to. It's just not in us. And here's Rocky's like, dude, I can't imagine aspiring to be someone who didn't make themselves. He's a man. That's what we're supposed to do.
He says, I told you this yesterday. He says, staring at a wall and a wall full of posters, looking at my dreams, who I want to be. I guess I got to see it to believe. So people you idolize, subconsciously, you don't realize that you want to not necessarily become them, but kind of follow that path of becoming and success and things you're interested in. How does somebody look up to someone that's never became? They just were. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't get that because he's a man. Right? He doesn't get that because he's a man. There's another example, Rashida Jones, daughter of Quincy Jones, right? And Rashida Jones is a decent actress. I mean, I like her and stuff. She was in The Office. She was in that Black AF series that Kenya Barris did, which was really good, by the way. It was actually very funny. But yeah, Rashida Jones, if not for Quincy Jones, Rashida Jones would just be Rashida Jones. Nobody would know who she is, right?
And that's the inner concern that we have about the influence that celebrities have on people. That's why I always reject this notion that it's like, we got to get rid of Tate, he's dangerous. We got to get rid of this free-spoken person, he's dangerous. What's truly dangerous is really more so what young people see rather than what they hear. So what you see reflects onto what you'll grind towards. So imagine if Tate was speechless, if you were just looking at his life and you wanted to obtain what he has. Well, there's a serious degree of discipline that follows that. And people are always caught up on the words, and they're caught up on the words because it's not user friendly, it's not media friendly, it hurts advertising. But I always think it's the image more so than the words. And that sounds like what you're describing. Is that what does it take to become this person? In a lot of cases, it is like, fuck what they say. Fuck the perspective. It's more so just look at what they had to do. And that's a perfect example of why I can actually really appreciate Lady Gaga, even though I disagree with her feminist perspective, because I'm actually just looking at what the girl built for herself and her sheer talent. And then because it's 2023 and she's a celebrity, if she wants to go off on the feminist tirade, I'm like, that's what she's expected to do. But when you look at what the girl's done for herself, that's a fucking night and day difference between idolizing a girl who never became, like you said, and more women. And
that is a very good example. That is a very good example. Lady Gaga, she was not born into fame. She was not born into celebrity. Lady Gaga, I think we all know, not the best looking chick in the world. But she fought and she clawed her way to where she is now. Okay, so she'll jump on with the feminist movement, etc., etc. But she got where she is because of hard work and dedication. She got where she was because of hard work and dedication. So I'm going to leave it there. Guys. If you guys want to watch the rest of this, I have pinned the link in the chat. I'm also going to put the link to this original video in the description so that you guys can go and check it out. I would strongly advise going to check it out. We got through 20 minutes. It's 44 minutes, so you got another 24 minutes of this. This is a very, very good discussion. And I think it's important. I think it's important to highlight these guys and to bring them along because of how young they are. Right? There are going to be young men who listen to the Savo brothers who would not listen to me. Right? I think the Savo brothers they're very important. I think they represent the young guys. I think they represent the young guys coming up in this community, and the way they talk, it's relatable, it's digestible. These guys are just regular guys. They're just a bunch of kids with no money, making movies, doing what they love to do, who have found this community, man. Tony Esquire with the $5 super chat says, adding insult to injury, is seeing all of these 304s keeping the unearned last name, which made them relevant in the first place. That's a very good point. Because Larsa Pippen left Scotty a long time ago, she still goes by Larsa Pippen. She still goes by Larsa Pippen. Young Capsule with the $10 super chat says Muhammad Ali's grandson is being hyped as the next big name in boxing. However, he still has to do the work. Well, yes. And it is far easier to succeed in women's boxing than men's boxing, as there is far more competition in men's boxing. Black Wolf Inc. with the $5 super chat says, small segue, Don. Who has the best version of Who Shot Ya, Biggie or Jadakiss? If you hear the beat, it'll never leave your head. Never leave your head. Jadakiss definitely has the best version of Who Shot Ya, for sure. Biggie's was good. Jadakiss's was the best. Jadakiss's was the best. Yep, Nicole Murphy. Keep them coming. Nicole Murphy. She was married to Eddie Murphy. They divorced long ago. She still goes by Nicole Murphy. It's a man's world no matter what they say. It really, really is. It really, really is. So, guys, be sure. I mean, dude, go over. Subscribe to Red Pill Lions. Subscribe to all of their channels, because these, I'm telling you, these kids know what the hell they're talking about. These kids are extremely knowledgeable for their age. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that we get as many eyeballs on them as possible, because I'm telling you right now, you heard it here first. The Savo brothers, they are the next big thing. They are the next big thing. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram at Donovan Sharpe TSR and on Twitter at Donovan's Den. Guys, make sure you scoop up my newest free ebook, Dead Bedroom, The Cure for a Sexless Relationship. Again, just go to tsracademy.com/free/ plug in your very best email, follow the instructions in the book, and watch your relationship go from the desert to the rainforest. That is going to do it for this, the 934th edition of TSR Live. My thanks to all of my members, patrons, Shipstream members, and super chatters. Have a great evening, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.